Well, look, really appreciate you coming down to this new centre today, and what do you think?
Well, thanks for having me first of all. I think it's really good. I really enjoyed my time being here, so happy I was able to come down.
Yeah, and it's great because if you're ever in the area, come down and try some of the problems, and it's great to see a climber of your calibre on these problems and routes and trying them on the new hole. So it's really inspiring.
I'll definitely come down because I mean with the Olympic boulder wall and stuff as well for training, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, it'd be brilliant. I mean, the Olympic thing's really interesting because, as you probably know, I did the very early competitions in the sort of mid to late 80s. And it was always, if somebody said to you as a young lad, what would you like out of a climbing competition? The classic answer would be, it'd be great to get an Olympic medal. And this is in the 80s. And it is staggering. It's taken so long to actually get to the Olympics, which of course should have been last year and is going to be this year. Yeah. And I just wondered, what's your thoughts on it being in the Olympics?
I mean, as you're saying, probably very similar. I mean, as a kid, I love watching the Olympics. So for the fact that the sport that I love doing is in the Olympics is amazing. And the thought that I could potentially go or get a medal is, I think, is really cool. And I think for the sport, it's amazing as well.
Yeah. And I think for you, the really interesting thing is you're not just a climber that's climbing inside. You've done some amazing things outside recently in Spain and obviously the UK and the competition. And you've got both sides of the coin, which I think is really healthy. And many of the guys you're competing with, are they doing a similar thing? Or are they just focused on inside, on indoor climbing?
A really interesting balance, actually, where you have the very, very top ones, the Andras or Magos, who split their time as much as they can. They're indoors for the comps and outdoors. But then you've also got the ones that can win comps or do very well, that just train indoors and do very few trips outdoors. So there's there is a mix, but I think it does seem to work more often than not that the very top ones do mix it up quite a lot. I think the outdoor skills are very useful still. So
yeah, and I mean, I guess climbing to some extent in your blood, and you can't compete forever, as I know. But to have that outdoor climbing thing, which is in essence a lifelong potential passion, it is a healthy thing to have as well. Do you think the next generations of young climbers coming along, like Paris and beyond, are going to get more specific on the disciplines, very much like athletics?
I think so. I think for sure we'll see for Paris and definitely for LA, if climbing gets, hopefully when climbing gets to LA, I think it'll definitely be, there'll be a lot more very specific athletes. So, be just 100% in speed, and because as it is now, the speed athletes still go outdoors. Most of them are outdoor climbers. And can climb, 8A routes, which is super impressive. Whereas I think in the future it'll be they spend their whole time on the speed wall, and boulders will spend their whole time indoors.
Like a 100-metre sprinter, just getting the power and the drive for a very tight discipline.
I think we're at quite an interesting point in climbing where you have the sort of all-rounders, like people like Tamoa, who's running sub 6 second speed routes, but flashing 80 plus boulder on rock.
Wow, that's impressive, isn't it? Yeah.
So I think there'll still be people who do that, but I think that will change and there'll be less.
And I guess for you at your age, you've got Paris in 2024, and you're still going to be there for at least the one after that as well. So you've got a really long potential lead in now in this sport, which is quite exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, which is super exciting for me. I mean, for Tokyo, I always knew that I would be right at the young end of it, and it would be a huge challenge. So just working towards it, I think improved my climbing a lot. And although I didn't actually qualify, in preparation for Paris and beyond, as you say, I think it's really useful.
But the experience,
exactly.
That's going to serve you really well for going forward, isn't it? For sure.
Definitely.
That's brilliant. And beyond the Olympics, is there anything else that you're planning for? I mean, obviously, Paris is going to be the big thing for you, isn't it? For sure. I mean, which is 3 years away, really now.
It's kind of an odd one, I suppose. I always have the small goals in a way, and then the Olympics has been a big goal. But kind of the big goal is always just go climbing, enjoy it, and ideally keep training and getting stronger. And then somewhere down the line, I'll maybe have something that I'm this is what I want to dedicate the rest of it on, and hopefully at that point I'll be strong enough to do whatever that is.
And what advice would you give to young kids coming in who may be watching some of the things we've done here today, where, I don't know, 5 or 6, and are inspired by it? What would you say to them? How would you say, harness it, get into it?
Well, to get into it, just because climbing's so broad, and the key thing is just find what part of it makes you the most happy, and just enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Just find the things that make it the most
Make
fun
it fun,
for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, Will. Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Will, for coming down. It's been amazing, and yeah, it's great that you've enjoyed the centre. I think you know, Entreprise is one of your sponsors, done a fantastic job here, and it's been a real pleasure working with these guys. You know, working in collaboration on the design and what we think is taking climbing in the UK to another level. And you know, it's great to have you down to climb on it and support us there.
Yeah,
Thanks,
well, it's
Will.
great to be there, and it's, as you said, it's taking climbing in the UK to another level. These like modern centres are just amazing, and I think it's so like exciting to come to, especially if you're new to climbing. You just be so inspired to climb here. So
brilliant. Well, you know where we are. If you're ever in the area, do pop in and have a climb. Yeah. Thanks, Will.